What's happening, guys? It's your girl Minna. Welcome back to the channel. You know what it is, man. Happy Monday, bank holiday vibes here in the UK. So I know a lot of you lot are probably just chilling, doing absolutely nothing today, which is the perfect way to go after Manchester United lost their game this weekend and every other rival fan or every other rival team won their game. But you guys know what it is, man. Be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. As always, we got a bit to talk about. Listen, if you're coming over from KG's channel, you lot are mad over there. Like, honestly, I had to dip from the stream. I know I saw KG saying, Minna, where'd you go? Where'd you go? I ain't trying to get cancelled. You lot over there, Reckless Delegation, are on next levels of crack so early in the morning. But big up to everyone listening, guys. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. No more pushing to get to 6K because we hit 6K. I don't know when we hit it. I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but we hit 6K. So for me, the next target, it's not 7K, it's not 8K, it's not 9K, it's 10K. 10K is the target. Hopefully we could get there maybe by the end of the year, or maybe we might be able to get there before my birthday. I don't know, man. We got to stay and see. But you don't know what it is. Listen, we're going to get into it and we're going to start with, I think, what should we start with? Should we start with Ugarte or should we start with Sancho? Let's start with Jadon Sancho, because I think that is the biggest news. The Ugarte one is news, but I'll say more so the Sancho news is more so the newer news. So I was going through the media, i.e. the pictures, trying to find some content, some pictures to use for today's stream. And I stumbled across a lot of old pictures of Sancho and Sterling in their younger years. Now this picture here it must be Euro 2016, I think at best, is, or maybe Euro 2020. Maybe Euro 2020, I think, because Sterling here is wearing the number 7 shirt. If you had told me then Sancho for Sterling in a swap, I would have definitely considered it. But there is no way in hell Manchester United are looking to get rid of a Jadon Sancho who we're already saying earns too much. United fans are complaining about 250k a week for Jadon Sancho, what he earns, plus obviously bonuses. There is no way on God's green earth that Man United would ever consider to do a swap and do a Sterling and Sancho swap, and possibly Ben Chilwell. We're going to get into that as well, because I don't know how you bring in Ben Chilwell when nobody has patience as of right now for Luke Shaw, who probably has Ben Chilwell probably has worse injury problems than Luke Shaw does. But on the topic of Sterling, on 325k, I don't think there's anything to it. Honestly, I genuinely don't think there's anything to it. We're going to talk about, obviously, the news about Juve, which has been the most cemented one. I think Manchester United are more privy and prefer cash transfer, money transfer. I don't think having a swap for Jadon Sancho for Raheem Sterling makes any sense. Now, in his time at Manchester City, Raheem Sterling, was arguably one of, I'd say, in the top 10 for wingers. Absolutely, yeah. But time has passed and he has regressed over his time at Chelsea. He's been there for 2 seasons. He has regressed. He is not the player that he once was under Pep Guardiola. And if there is the notion that he could become that player again, I want you lot to hold on to that hope, but don't bring that hope here to Manchester United. 325k a week. Man United, the same, by the way, Manchester United that reportedly are trying to implement a wage structure in the team. Also, can I just say, just quickly, Chelsea absolutely fleeced us for Mason Mount. Why are we now doing them a favor? It's very clear as day. Maresca has made it obvious about Sterling's future at the club. Why are we doing them a favor? Now, obviously, I think Jadon Sancho, in comparison to Raheem Sterling, Jadon Sancho has had a lot of offers or potentially teams interested in signing him. And obviously, Juve is one of them. Now, the news coming out this morning from Samuel Luckhurst is that Manchester United are set to hold formal discussions with Juve over the possible sale of Jadon Sancho. Keyword, sale. It's not a loan that they're looking for. Man United want to sell him. A private jet is reportedly scheduled to take off from Manchester to Turin later today due to Juve's firm interest in Sancho. So the way that it's going to go possibly is that if Manchester United can agree terms, Sancho's out. Big up to Aminor with the super chat. Sorry, before the stream even started, said Fred scored a hat-trick, yet we sold him and get Ugarte. I'm going to come back to this super chat when we get to the Ugarte talk, because if Jadon Sancho is out the door, I definitely do think Manuel Ugarte will be in the door this week for Manchester United. Maybe we get here we go later today. Maybe he comes in and does his medical tomorrow. And and maybe he's a United player by Wednesday. I don't know. We'll get to that topic, obviously. But this idea of a Sancho Raheem Sterling swap, I just don't get as United fans. By the way, can you lot just say in the chat, yeah, yes or no for Raheem Sterling? Because I do want to gauge, whether or not United fans actually want him, or whether this is just paper talk. Because I like Raheem Sterling as a player. I like him as a player, but for Manchester United, I don't think so. He's 29, turning 30. He's not that far from 30 on 325k a week. Soon we'll start to lose that burst of energy that I will say, and that speed that he has. Man United need people that can score, that can put the ball in the back of the net. Raheem Sterling in front of goal is not that clinical. We know that. As fans, we are impatient with people like Antony and Rashford, etc. Imagine with Raheem Sterling. Imagine that. Now, in an ideal world, I would have taken Raheem Sterling at Manchester United if it was on 100k or something, like literally more than half of what he's on right now. But ideally, that's not going to happen. And like I said, with Maresca standing firm on his point on Sterling, why should we do a favour to Chelsea? If you're going to go, if Man United, hypothetically speaking, were to go to Chelsea for a swap deal and Jadon Sancho's on the table, give me Cole Palmer. That's all I'm taking. That's the only thing I'm taking from Chelsea, or Madueke. I would say Caicedo, but we don't need him, because if we're signing Ugarte and we've got Kobe, there's two players that I'm taking, and it's definitely not Sterling, and it's definitely not Chilwell. I think United need to learn from doing favours for other people. Everyone in the chat, by the way, you lot are all saying no. You lot are all saying no, no, no. I ain't seen anyone. Have I seen anyone? I scrolled too far up. Let me see if anyone has said yes. Joe says no one wants to do us favors with other players. Why should we be saints to others? Facts. We need gold standard, not Sterling. Why should we get someone who's on the down and will continue to be on the down? 100%. I don't think we should sign people that are regressive. That's it. It's as simple as that. And also, I would also look at Ineos a bit sideways with this notion that Sir Jim Ratcliffe came in and said, you know, we're going to sign people that are up-and-coming talents of a certain age. I would not, Minna, I'd take Sterling in a heartbeat. The disrespect is wild. I don't think it's disrespectful saying that you wouldn't take him. I'm not saying that Sterling is crap. I just don't think Man United need him or should take him. Now, if you had said to me it was a swap for Antony, I would think about it. You know what? But let's be honest, guys. Raheem Sterling is not the kind of player, or at this age, let me say this. At this age, you are not going to make a diamond out of a player that is regressing. There's nothing wrong with saying that Raheem Sterling at this age is regressing. There's nothing wrong with that. By the way, when players who have come onto the scene at a young age, they start to regress maybe a lot earlier than other people. 29 turning 30, that is your last major contract that you're probably going to get in football. And maybe that's why he's adamant that he wants to stay in Europe, because he feels like he can still play at that age. Swapping a 24-year-old for someone who's turning 30 does not make any sense. It doesn't make any sense in the age factor. It doesn't make any sense in the wages factor. It doesn't make sense that neither player wants to play at the current team that they're at. Sancho doesn't want to be at United under Erik ten Hag. I'm assuming. That's just an assumption, by the way. And Raheem Sterling is clear where he stands with Maresca at Chelsea. So that's another factor that we're taking into consideration, considering the age, considering the sell-on factor or the sell-on value, and the wages that both players are on. It's literally United are downgrading in every possible way. Now, Raheem Sterling at City, and I think that's what a lot of people are holding on to, was once upon a time a very good player. But I genuinely think that this is just paper talk. We already have Sterling at United with Rashford. Man United and Rashford is interesting because I genuinely feel like Rashford's this season is make or break for Rashford at United. But quite a few of you lot are saying the same thing about Rashford and Sterling. Now that kid ain't happy anyway, and he's played for two of our biggest rivals in football. It seems like there's no loyalty sometimes. But let's get on to the Sancho talk. I thought it was interesting to start with this. I do think this is where he ends up. I do think this is where he ends up. Now, can Juve afford to buy him? It's very funny to think that two players that United are very keen on getting rid of are going to two of the biggest teams in Italy, in Napoli and Juve. I'm talking about Scott McTominay, obviously, and Jadon Sancho potentially going to Juve. Do I think Italy would be a good destination for Jadon Sancho? 100%. I think a player of his caliber and a player of his ability, especially his technical levels, will definitely, shine in Italy. And what I think Manchester United need, because it's mentioned here about a possible loan deal. Man United want to sell or a loan with an obligation to buy for Jadon Sancho. We cannot be in next year or next summer transfer window revisiting the same story about Jadon Sancho. It is at that point, it would have been the end of his 4th year at Manchester United. And can I just say, today marks 1 year, guys, 1 year since Jadon Sancho last played a Premier League game for Manchester United. 1 year ago, because the week later he was left out of the Arsenal squad, and then all of that madness kind of unfolded with Erik ten Hag. Am I tired of this Jadon Sancho saga? Yes, but in one part, I look at Man United's options and I think, how bad is Jadon Sancho at training? Or how bad is the relationship between the manager and the player that he cannot even be an option for Manchester United right now? I look at what Rashford offers us. Doesn't move me. I look at what Anthony offers. It doesn't move me. And I look at Jadon Sancho, and maybe that's what makes me so frustrated about this whole situation. Because Jadon Sancho, for me, could have made a difference if he wanted to. If he wanted to, he could have made a difference. And yet we find ourselves 4th season in, and we're just here trying to ship him out on loan. I do think, by the way, he will go to Juve. I definitely think it will. What do we know about this? We know that Manchester United are in talks officially with Juve. 40 million price tag. I don't think they'll pay that, because as someone mentioned in the chat, they just signed Conceição. I think they signed him on loan, or they signed him and another winger on loan. Will he go to Juve? 100%. I think Manchester United's clearly, there's 3 players, by the way, Samuel Lockhurst has mentioned this morning about Manchester United trying to offload. And it's Scott McTominay, which we know it's a done deal. He just got to cross the T's and dot the I's with United, i.e. a payout is incoming for him, similar to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But Scott McTominay is one, Jadon Sancho is the other, and the third one is Hannibal Mejbri. Now, we know that Hannibal Mejbri has some potential offers or clubs interested from the Championship, from the Scottish League, etc. So United will definitely look at that. But out of the 3 of them, obviously Scott McTominay is the most profitable. He's 100% profit as an academy player. And we're going to talk about that when we come to him, because I think getting that deal done was important for United to get the Ugarte deal over the line, similar with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Nazir Mazraoui. Do you guys think United should sell Sancho? But someone in the chat just said Sancho has had his time, because I'm in 2 ways about it. Obviously, my thought process is in 2 ways about it. One side of me, I'm like, he has to go. It's been 4 seasons, or entering his 4th season. But then I'm looking at how bad Manchester United's winger options are and how short of a window left in the transfer window. And obviously for me, the most important thing is, if a player is not happy to be here, they will never play well. Jadon Sancho will not play well. He had all the involvement in the preseason. He had involvement in the Community Shield. But when he stepped up to take that penalty, it looked like 100% he was going to miss when he stepped up, because he looked like a player that's low on confidence, not happy to be here, and just wants to go. And it's kind of been reiterated by The Athletic after the first game of the season, when he was left out by Erik ten Hag. And Erik ten Hag, by the way, said it was about an ear infection. The Athletic kind of played that down and said it was actually a selection reason why he was left out. And then again, left out of the fixture this weekend as well against Brighton. For me, happiness is the most important thing. You look at a player that's happy to be there and happy with their environment, you will get a good performance out of the player. You will get a good performance. That is, I think, environment is the first factor. But I will say one thing at Juve, which is not really the situation at Manchester United, is Thiago Motta is very direct. I've seen people saying that Erik ten Hag should be more like Thiago Motta and like Enzo Maresca, etc. When you are asked about a player, be very clear about whether that player is playing or they're leaving. Simple as that. And Thiago Motta has been very clear about that. I pitched this idea weeks ago when I said Man United should go for Chiesa if they want an impact player. If we could get a player like Chiesa or Sterling for cheap wages as an impact player, I'll be for it. But the reason why I'm against the idea of Raheem Sterling is because I know he's not going to come with cheap wages. I know that he's not going to come with the expectation of not playing often. He's going to come with the expectation of being a starter. He himself feels like he can still be a starter, which is why he's clashing heads with the Chelsea board and Enzo Maresca. With Chiesa on the flip side, yes, he has injury issues, but you could get the best out of 40 games from him in the season for low wages. By the way, can I just say, it's very unlikely that we get low wages. We see the issue that's unfolding right now with Napoli and Victor Osimhen, if you guys don't know about that. But Ten Hag said Sancho didn't train well before the Arsenal game. No, he did say that, but he never said clearly he's in my plans or he's not in my plans. Like Enzo Maresca has been very clear. He said, I prefer other wingers to Raheem Sterling, and he's not in my plans. That's it. Thiago Motta, very clear about Federico Chiesa, said straight up, I have no plans to have Chiesa in my squad. He needs to find himself a new team. Erik Ten Hag hasn't really said that. He's just, this week he said some read between the lines kind of quote where he post game or before the game, sorry, when he was talking to TNT Sport. He basically said something where you have to kind of read between the lines, where he was basically saying, when you don't get picked, you need to understand why you're not picked. And we have to have a standard, and we need to have players that are basically competing for the spot. That's basically what he said. I don't know what the hell that means. If I'm a player, I'm looking at that and thinking, what does that mean? Okay, I need to work hard. But if I work hard, am I guaranteed to start or get playing time? No. I think it would be a lot better if Erik Ten Hag was direct. But then again, I look at it, I like to look at it on the flip side all the time and be like, well, Manchester United wouldn't be able to sell Jadon Sancho if Erik Ten Hag comes out and blasts him and says he has no future in my team. Because other teams are going to look at it and be like, you don't want that player, so we're going to bid 15 million for him. Or we're going to bid 10 million for him, etc., etc. Ramadan in the chat, where is it? Let me see. Ramadan said something. Trust me, big up Ramadan, who's a Chelsea fan, says, trust me, you don't want Sterling even on cheap wages. He's awful. And I think this is the thing with Raheem Sterling, is that we are, as football people, as football fans, whatever, we're holding on to the idea of what Raheem Sterling once was, right? He's not that guy anymore. There is nothing wrong with a player regressing. There is something wrong with a player regressing at the age of 29, 30. But when you've been on the scene from 17, 18, that means you peaked early and you're starting to regress a lot earlier than what other people would. But that's because you were on the scene a lot longer. That's what's happening with Raheem Sterling. This guy's 10 years. 10 years he's been at it. So, of course, he peaked earlier. He's regressing earlier. That is totally fine. But that does not mean Manchester United have to go and buy him. Manchester United do not have to go and buy him. Breadwinner says something very valid. It says, arguable that it's no longer Ten Hag's project, so he doesn't have the authority to say he's no longer in his plans. That's true. That is one way to look at it. That is definitely one way to look at it. Kweke says, sell him. At this point, Ten Hag doesn't rate him. Sancho is going to be off the pace and won't get a look in. There must be something we aren't privy to. Why has no player come out to comment? Why would they? Why would a player come out to comment? Like, why would Sancho come out to comment? The last time Sancho commented, you saw what that did. But also, I think it's back to Breadwinner's point. It might not be Ten Hag's project anymore. It's the Ineos project, and Erik Ten Hag just has to accept it. Big up to Ramadan with the super chat, says big up Minna on 6k. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Welcome everyone that's new. I don't even know when we hit 6k, but it's a nice little milestone to reach on this wonderful Monday. I just think, you know what it is with Chelsea, just quickly on Chelsea before we kind of move on, is that Chelsea is very clear that, by the way, when this Chelsea team meshes, it's going to be scary. It's actually going to be, when this Chelsea team really starts to gel. I saw that game yesterday, and they brought on, do you see who they brought on from the bench? Look who we bring on from our bench. Obviously, and look at who Chelsea bring on. Obviously, they've spent $1 billion and something, so that is completely understandable. But they got Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, they got Nkunku, they got Madueke, who's doing well. They got a decent midfield. The only place I look at them is defensively, like, question mark. But that front line, the options they have to bring on and the options they have to start is ridiculous. And Raheem Sterling, there's no disrespect, can I say, looking at that Chelsea team now and saying Raheem Sterling doesn't fit into it. I think there's actually, it's not a disrespectful thing. Would he have been a good option for them for depth? I don't even think if he would be a good option for them depth-wise. They've got people like Pedro Neto as depth. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And they are obviously ahead of us in their project, can I just say? João Felix off the bench is crazy. It's ridiculous to think João Felix off the bench as a threat. Outrageous. Outrageous. But just the last part on Jadon Sancho. Obviously, we know Juve is where he's heading to. And reportedly, Juve are now directly in talks with Manchester United to get the deal done. And this idea of Chelsea are hoping. So it's Chelsea that's hoping for this swap deal between Sancho and Raheem Sterling. And Manchester United are only looking to sell him. Now, on the flip side with Raheem Sterling is open to joining Manchester United should the move materialize, and he's had no official talks elsewhere with any other club, nor has he had direct talks with Manchester United. If I was Raheem Sterling, you know what I would do? If you want me out, pay me to leave. If I was Raheem Sterling and it's very clear that they want to get him out of the door and he's not playing football and no offer has come in for you, maybe Saudi is a destination for him. But out of the two of them, can I just say, I would look more at it's crazy to say this, but I would look more at Raheem Sterling as an option than I would look at Ben Chilwell. I'm very glad that this story of Ben Chilwell has been kind of like downplayed a lot more, because there is no reason why they should look at Ben Chilwell when you've got Luke Shaw, can I say, in the medical room, and you look at Luke Shaw and think, you know what? A good option would be this guy here. It's ridiculous. It's a joke. Sterling has 3 years left on that contract. Pay him out. If he was sick, that's what he would say. That's what he would say. I'm not condoning that, but obviously, each to their own. Just some quick talk on this guy here. Scott McTominay is officially leaving Manchester United. Like I said, he just needs to cross the T's, dot the I's with Man United. You know, finally complete. I guess he'll get a payout. If Wan-Bissaka got his payout, his contract payout, then I think obviously Scott McTominay would. Can I say the price that Man United are getting him for is good business when you consider that he's on his final year of his deal. So what is the deal? They've agreed a deal with Napoli, and the players agreed terms with Napoli as well. He just needs to finalize his terms with Manchester United for 30 million euros with a percentage of future sale. Now, this is taken into consideration that Scott McTominay is in his last year, right? Of course, Chelsea sold us Mason Mount for ridiculous amount, but I'm not gonna dwell on that too much. But 30 million is very, very reasonable for a player of Scott McTominay's caliber, and the fact that he's got 1 year left on his deal. That's it. When I saw this news yesterday, I didn't know how to feel about it. A part of me, can I say, was like, you know, when you sensationalize everything and you're like, oh, it's the end of an era. You know, because obviously he's an academy kid, came through the ranks into the first team. Can I say that one thing about Scott McTominay that you can give him credit for? We can talk about the fact of what he lacks as a midfielder, right? But we never had issues of Scott McTominay with any sort of, there's never negative stuff about him in the media. The only negative stuff we see about him is about the way that he plays. The way that he plays is the only negatives, right? But in a world that we live in, where having sentiment for McSauce is a new low, it's not sentiment, it's more so like, you know what, all the best of luck to him. And I do wish him all the best of luck, because last season he saved United. I mean, United could have finished a lot lower in the table had he not won those games, right? He gave us the best of what, 9 years, 8 years? But this is just further proof of people that have overstayed their time at Manchester United and should have been moved on a long time ago. And I do feel like we might be entering a new era of Manchester United in terms player-wise, because the face of Manchester United in the last 5 to 10 years, right? The face of Man United the last 5 to 10 years has been Marcus Rashford, Scott McTominay, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire. You know, Lingard has gone, Pogba has gone, Andres Pereira has gone, Luke Shaw. There's so many players that have been the face of Man United for that long, and it's finally seems like Man United are moving past that. It finally feels like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Man United are in dire need, can I say, of a new face. They need a makeover. They need a makeover. You got people like Bruno Fernandes in already, but then you have younger players like Kobbie Mainoo coming through, Garnacho coming through, Amad Diallo coming through. You've got Lenny Yoro, hopefully will come back from his injury and be a big part of Man United's future. You've got De Ligt, you've got the experience of De Ligt, you've got Lisandro Martinez, you got Anana, who sometimes I'm like, question mark. But there's a lot of people that should have been moved on a long time ago and are now being moved on. Victor Lindelof, his wife's posting cryptic messages saying, here we go with the airplane emoji. I think they're just going on holiday. She's just going on holiday. And I don't think he's leaving. And I think United have accepted that he will leave on a free. But this kind of points it. That basically shows how average our team has been over the years, depending on Scott to paper over the cracks. 100%. For me, it was like with Scott McTominay, I wish him all the best of luck. When I see stuff like this, I just think, whoa, look at the difference United might get with Scott McTominay and Manuel Ugarte. Look at, you know what's funny? I look at this, yeah, and you lot are probably thinking, how do we interpret this, right? Ugarte is blue, McTominay is pink. Even at Ugarte's worst traits, he's still better statistically than Scott McTominay. This is based on last season duels. You look at the percentage of duels that they've won, yeah? 57% versus 23%. How did Scott McTominay play game after game last season when he was winning no duels? And by the way, I don't need stats to tell me that Ugarte is an upgrade. I don't need stats to tell me that. I don't need data. I don't need visuals to tell me that. Simply the eye test will confirm that to me. But this just confirms to me that even in his worst traits and the things that Ugarte might not propel in and he might not exceed in, he is still better than Scott McTominay. And just perfect kind of segue to that for Manuel Ugarte. This could potentially be the end of this saga, guys. We might finally see the end of it. Do I think Manuel Ugarte is the complete answer? No. I always said Man United needed to sign two midfielders. They need a destroyer and a controller, a dictator, a tempo setter. We're not getting that with Ugarte. I look at Kobbie Mainoo sometimes and I think, is he being advised to not be the forward passing player, the player that's driving the ball forward, that is, you know, because he excels in that. If you've watched him in the academy, he's good at that. He was playing in the 10. He has the ability to do that. But sometimes I do think that he might be instructed to do a bit less of that. And I'm hoping with the arrival of Ugarte, he gets that freedom to be like, you know what? I don't need to go and defend, because I will bring up something, guys. I did a video on it. If you lot want to check it out, please go check it out. I'm doing a new series, guys, here, post-game. We got the minute state of mind, but we're doing 5 in 5. 5 points in 5 minutes after the game. And I kind of mentioned it on that, if I can bring it up quickly. Because I do think it is an instruction, for Kobbie Mainoo to be that 6. Because this is United in build-up, right? This is Manchester United in build-up. And this particular piece, I kind of touched on it. I kind of touched on this picture in the video when I was talking about United playing this 3-1-6. Kobbie Mainoo here is the deepest lying midfielder, right? And we've got 6 players, 3 of them on the shoulder of the final line of the opponent. And then the other 3 here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 players kind of occupying the center circle space. And then we got the 2 wingers, or this is actually Dallo there. Yeah, that's Dallo over here. Then you've got Amad there far hugging the touchline. Kobbie Mainoo as the deepest lying midfielder is not the thing. It's not it. It's not it. Can he play there? Yes, he can play there. But I'm hoping with the arrival of Manuel Ugarte, if it actually does happen, that it will allow Kobbie to take up the roles that Casemiro is taking up here. Casemiro is more advanced than him. He's more advanced than him. Man United, for me right now, what do they miss in midfield? They miss 2 things. R.I.P. Sven. What? Sven-Göran Eriksson died. Oh my God, that is sad. Sven-Göran Eriksson died. I know I think he had cancer or something. I'll never forget when I was on holiday in Dubai years ago. This must be maybe 2013, maybe, no, this must be like 2010 to maybe 2010, 2011. And I was in IHOP with one of my siblings. And we saw Sven-Goran Eriksson. I was like, is that Sven-Goran Eriksson? And my sister was like, yeah, that's Sven. And we were like, oh, should we ask him for a picture? We were so shy to ask him for a picture. Anyway, we went over to him, asked him for a picture, and then took a picture with him. I don't know if I got that picture somewhere in my camera roll, but it must have been like 2009 or 2010. It was ages ago. I do remember he's been sick for a long time. Hopefully, I hope England do something to kind of, what's the word? You know, when they wear black armbands and that, maybe England will do that in their first fixture in the international break. It was terminal. I saw he was coaching in the Liverpool, I think it was a Legends game, because he was saying that he's always dreamed to coach at Liverpool or something. So they let him coach the Liverpool game. That's sad, man. That is sad. That's sad, man. No jokes in the chat about that. Yeah, no jokes about that. But yeah, back to the Kobbie Mainoo thing. I do think Manuel Ugarte coming in will take. I shouldn't be seeing this. I should not be seeing this if Kobbie comes in to the role and Manuel Ugarte is the deeper player. The deeper player. I do think though, and people are saying that, you know, United fans are spoiled or United need a control. If there's anything that confirmed it to me that Manchester United need a dictator in the middle, not like, I'm not talking like president, like, you know, like dictators, like who is that dictator in Africa? There's bare dictators in Africa, but I'm not talking about that when I say dictator. I'm saying someone to dictate the play, someone that knows when to slow the game down, someone who knows when to speed the game up, someone who can change the pace of the game easily. Manchester United lack that. Someone who can calm things down in midfield. Brighton weekend, Saturday, 12:30 confirmed that for me. It confirmed that for me that Manchester United were completely missing that. Easily, without a doubt. And I will be honest, this is why I wasn't against Man United signing Manuel Ugarte, but I think I've spoken about this even with KG on his stream a couple of weeks back, where I was saying United cannot be kind of pulled in or roped into this idea of paying 60 million for Manuel Ugarte that doesn't answer the complete problems of the midfield. Because if we're being honest, right, Ugarte for me is in that bracket of a Casemiro, of a Matic, etc. Matic at United, maybe not Matic at Chelsea, but Matic at United. But we haven't replaced Carrick. That is what United are missing. They're missing a Carrick-esque player in the midfield. Them days with Carrick in the midfield, listen, you didn't have to worry about the midfield, Man United struggling in the midfield for possession or with possession. You didn't have to worry about passing back all the time because there's no one that has the ability to take the ball forward and bring me midfield. That's mental. Someone who actually wants the ball at his feet, unlike Casemiro. I feel like Casemiro, he thrives more further up the pitch, guys. I don't want to be that person, but Casemiro at United right now, can I say? Casemiro at United right now is not a player that should be playing deep. Because once he gets caught out, he gets caught out. It's actually game over. It's really game over. So this idea that Manuel Ugarte is going to be first and Casemiro is going to be second, I don't think so. I think, guys, Erik ten Hag might change between Kobbie and Casemiro. You know that. I don't see Casemiro being that 6 anymore for United. I really don't see it. I think right now, even right now, can I say he's playing in the 6. But you're looking at the game and you're watching the game and he's in build-up, he's not a 6. He's not playing in a 6. Now, in this particular role, you can see him here, right? We can see him right there. We see Maguire there, he's dropped in. Even when he's dropped in here, can I say, and he's in front of Anana, he's just there as a decoy. He's a decoy for these two players here. It gives space for the more able player on the ball, like Leacher, to receive it. But then even then, and this is why I kind of criticized the 3-1-6 in my video. I criticized it because I said even then, when a player like Leacher gets the ball, you got Dalot here, but you've got no one else unless you're doing a cross, you know, you're switching the ball across, unless Kobbie's coming short. But by the time Kobbie's come short, you've basically got a back 4 and you've got a front 6 and you've got nobody in the midfield. You've got no one in the midfield. And from this kind of, can I say, it's confirmed to me that United will consistently go on to play this 3-1-6 in build-up, but I just don't see it working. In the Premier League, I do not see a 3-1-6 working where you can just vacate and abandon the midfield and it will be okay. It doesn't make sense to me. Guys, it's never going to make sense to me. I've never seen a team abandon the midfield in the manner that Manchester United do and win games. I haven't seen that happen. And even we can talk about City at their peak with Pep winning the treble. They were always playing a Rodri and a Stones. They were always playing two in that middle. They had a Kanji and Rodri in the middle. They had someone in the middle to support the DM because they know, and that's a team that dominates possession, but they know in transition it's very easy for them to get caught out in the midfield. Look at that 6-man up front, school playground settings. This 6-man up front, for me, it doesn't make sense when people are occupying the same space. That doesn't make sense. If you got 6-man, you got 3 guys here, yeah, and then 3 guys here, right? That looks like what the formation is. You got 3 in a line, then you've got these 2 in front of each other, and then you've got 3 here. For me, it doesn't make sense because you've got 3 players kind of occupying that center circle area. You've got these 2 occupying this area here, which on paper it makes sense because you got 1 fullback against 2 players, and then you got Dalot in heaps of space, right? You've got Diogo Dalot in all of this space. Where is the ball gonna go? Because people are congested in one area. If people move, it makes sense. If people make runs in behind, it makes sense. But you don't have these players. And this is why I said the false 9 thing didn't work against Brighton, because people are not moving when United are on the ball. Marcus Rashford, for me, like he's oh my God, I saw a clip, yeah, it was from the game, and obviously we knew about it because we watched the game, but just seeing it again just kind of frustrated me even more because he's lost that burst of willingness to take a man on. He's lost it completely. He's not got it in his locker anymore, guys. He's not got it in his locker anymore. And United are going to hold on to this idea of that. The defenders have to be unbelievable progressive passes on the ball in that structure. They got to go straight to the 6 up front when you can't reach the 1 lone midfielder 100%. Like, that's why I think in this position here, I can't remember what happened here. I think the ball went out to Dalot here. But in this position here, I think you can go to Licha, but by the time the ball gets to Licha and he drives the ball forward, where is he going to go if nobody's making movements and everyone's just in this front 6? Never in my life have I seen this work for Manchester United, because teams will find a way to exploit it. You know why? One person gets the ball here. Say, hypothetically speaking, right? The goalkeeper plays a ball to Dalot, and Dalot's 1v1 against Minter comes back. The fullback comes out to the right, and now he's got 2 against 1, right? He loses possession. Do you know how easy it is to capitalize on that? For the opponent to capitalize. It's so easy for the opponent to capitalize on that. And we saw it, by the way, with Brighton. There was a moment where it was a 3-on-3 counter that United were trying to defend. Any other team that's more clinical, Brighton on any other day puts that away, right? But that is the issue with the 3-1-6, is that when you get caught on the counter, guys, you have a lot more players. The opponent has a lot more players than the defending team does. If United were caught on a counter here, you already got 2v3, right? You got these 2 forwards and the back 3. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy, it could be a 6-on-3. Easy, without a doubt. You need DC and Marvel in the team for that formation to work in the Prem. I really hope that United do not persist with it. I really do not hope that United continue with it. And I hope with this guy arriving here, it will kind of change it up a little bit for what Manchester United will do in the midfield. I really do hope that. But be sure to hit the like button, guys. Be sure to subscribe if you've just come through. Let's try and get to 100 likes. Reportedly, Burnley are still pursuing a deal for Hannibal Mejbri. If United could get 10 million for him, that's a good deal. that is an absolute good deal. We'll come to that later in the stream. But yeah, be sure to hit the like button, guys. Be sure to subscribe. Let's try to get to 100 likes. If you want to join the Minions gang, aka the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. If you want to support the channel in other ways, you can by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love to the channel here. And if you want to do something simple, then you can just by hitting the like button and subscribing. Let me see what you lot are saying in the chat. Let me see what you lot are saying in the chat. You lot are getting onto things. Swap Hannibal for Vegas. That's mad. That's mad. All right, so just quickly on Manuel Ugarte, just some news coming out from France about the deal. Now, if this is true, kudos to Manchester United. Kudos to Manchester United if this is true. Ugarte is expected, or could, should I say? Let me stay true to what's written here. Ugarte could sign his Manchester United contract in the next couple of hours. PSG wanted 60 million euros. United offered 52 million, and reportedly PSG lowered their price over the weekend. Some details are left to close the deal, and the deal is practically finished. You know, just crossing the T's, dotting the I's, etc., etc. Now, if this is finally the end of this saga, and I really hope it is, I really, really, really hope that this is the end of this saga, Manchester United will get a player that they have been chasing. 52 million euros, I think, is about 45 million pounds, 44 million pounds. I could be a little off, you know, conversion and all of that stuff. That is good business. That is good business. Now, reportedly last week, it was reported that Manchester United had no intention to go over 60 million because under Ahmad Barada and this new structure at Manchester United, there is no intention to pay 60 million plus for players. They don't believe in that. And for far too long, I think Man United have brought a player for 60 million, in every window. For how long? We brought Mason Mount last window. We brought what, Rasmus Højlund, both of them more than 60. The year before that, we brought Anthony and Casemiro. So since Erik ten Hag has arrived at Manchester United, we've spent more than 60 million on a player in every window. So now we have to hope that if this is the philosophy, this is the idea, the ideology that this new United structure are going to have, I'm all for it, but only at the expense of getting the players that you actually want. Now, I saw a couple, like last week, people saying, you know, on streams, why is, you know, United not walking away from it? I think United have stayed adamant that they were going to get their guy. I think that they have stayed adamant that they were always going to get their guy. And yes, this has kind of stretched out for way too long. In that time, PSG have been able to sign the players that they wanted. They got their João Neves, you know, they got their Desire Doué. They've also in the process of signing potentially Ademola Lookman. Manchester United, I think what has taken so long is, most importantly, the details of the business or the deal. What do we know already? We know one thing. We know that PSG triggered the release clause for Manuel Ugarte last summer from Sporting for 60 million euros. However, they began to make payments this summer. And it spread across 5 years. So they're paying 60 million across the course of 5 years. Manchester United probably want to agree not a similar deal, but agree a deal similar in the terms that they can pay over a certain number of years. Definitely not the amount, in my opinion, that PSG are asking for. I still think 60 million is ridiculous. I really hope, by the way, that United do not pay that. And I think the biggest part of the deal or the details of the deal is probably the payment structure. Not only how long or the duration of years that they're going to pay it over, but I think another part of it will also have to do with the add-ons and how much is the fixed fee. Now, if it truly is 52 million euros, which is around 45 million pounds, if you're telling me only some of that is add-ons and a majority of it is a fixed fee, I think the most important thing is then agreeing what the terms are. Stick Sancho in the deal, get rid quick. They don't want Sancho, can I say? We need more minnows in football. More Asian representation. I'm not Asian. But we need more women, We need more women, but I'm not Asian, bro. One promising stat regarding Ugarte is he's only missed 5 games in his career through injury or illness. Perfect. You never know. Can I just say, you never know with that, because Lenny Yoro never missed a game since he started playing senior football, and then he got injured straight away. That's not a good measuring. Can I say, a good measure? Because you never know what's gonna happen when someone comes to United. You never ever know what is gonna happen when whoever comes to Manchester United. Bruno's another player. He barely got injured though. Bruno barely got injured. Let me ask you lot a question. Let me ask you guys a question. Would you be happy with Manuel Ugarte being the final signing for Manchester United this summer? Given the fact that Man United could possibly sell Sancho, they're obviously selling Scott McTominay, but I think Scott McTominay being sold is linked to Manuel Ugarte coming in. So if United sell Sancho and they sell Hannibal Mejbri, I think United should bring in another player, personally. I look at United's front line, and that scares me. People are saying left back is a concern. There's 2 positions that scare me: the midfield and the forward line. I look at the forward line and I think there's no fluidity between our wingers and our strikers. And our strikers are going to take some time to kind of settle in, I think. But that midfield scares me. That midfield scares me. And I'm staying firm on the idea that United do not have a conductor. Christian Eriksen, for example, when Bruno came off on Saturday for Scott McTominay, it would have made more sense for me for United to bring on Christian Eriksen, right? Because United would have needed a player in midfield to control the midfield, to settle the midfield. None of this basketball-style football up and down the pitch, etc. You just need someone to slow the game down. But then again, I look at the fullback situation and I think United are 1 injury away right now from having Leacher playing left back, Harry Amas playing left back, or Anthony playing left back. We need 2 midfielders, a left back and a forward player, a striker and a DM after Ugarte. Lincoln says bring in 1 more midfielder. We need fullbacks ASAP. 100%, I think we need fullbacks. 100%. Amas can play left back. That's true, but I don't see Erik Ten Hag just throwing Amas in. It seems like when Erik Ten Hag truly thinks something about a player, he kind of stays firm on it. And he truly believes that Amas is not ready for first team football. So I think he's going to stay firm on it. We need another midfielder. Nope. If Sancho leaves, perhaps a lone winger and another midfielder. No, but I'm greedy. You lot are saying no. Yeah, I don't want United. I don't see United bringing in another player, but I would like them to bring in another player, because what do we rank a window of? Yoro, Xerxes, Delit, Mizraoui, and Ugarte. 5 players in. What do we rank that as a window? By the way, I don't even think Man United have spent the most in the window. I think Brighton have spent the most. Brighton, Villa, and some of the newly promoted teams. Go to the Championship and bring in a winger and a CM. I saw 1 winger for QPR. He's on loan from another team, but he is an absolute baller. His name's Dembele. Anytime someone got the name Dembele, you know damn well they're going to be a good player. No left backs in the market. If yes, get Kirkes or Grimaldo. We'll never get Grimaldo. We'll never get Grimaldo. We still can't score goals, but that's not an issue apparently. We've been poor offensively for years. That shouldn't be an excuse. That should not be an excuse. We scored a record number of low goals last season, if you want to call it that. We are struggling for goal difference, or we've struggled for goal difference, and I don't want United to struggle for that again. I don't want United to struggle for goal difference again. You lot are saying a solid 6.5, a 6. Yeah, I give it a 6. I give it a 6. 7 out of 10. I would give it a 6. The only way it would get to it. The thing is if we're basing it only on incomings, if you consider the outgoings, what do you rate it? What do we rate it altogether if we're considering the outgoings? Because I'm not going to lie, Scott McTominay leaving, okay. Sancho, if he leaves, okay. Who else? Willy Cambuala has left. You still got Lindelof. You still got Harry Maguire. Players that a lot of people feel like is a surplus to requirements. I would say outgoings is a 7, incomings is a 6. Outgoings is a 7, incomings is a 6. If Sancho leaves, 7 out of 10. You're not saying 7 out of 10. If we sell Sancho, it might be 6.5. I don't mind waiting. I think clearing the squad was the priority. Seems like we're setting our finances for next summer window. I agree. I think United are setting themselves up for a positive PSR position that will allow them to spend a lot more comfortably and do less penny pinching next season. Only becomes 10 out of 10 if all the incomings perform. As long as Anthony is around every window, it will be a 5 out of 10 by default. That is so harsh. That is so. Everyone's saying 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10. That's reasonable. Rashford, 2 games, 0 shots. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Rashford just quickly for Manchester United, because obviously he's not had the best of starts to the season. I saw the funniest thing. Yeah, I saw someone say that Marcus Rashford struggled in his first 2 games against Brighton. His first 2 games last season, 2 seasons ago, and then he went on to score against Liverpool in the 3rd game. Now, I'm not saying that's not gonna happen, right? I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, but I don't know how anybody, and this is coming from me myself as someone who's backed Rashford to have a good season. I don't know how anyone can look at Rashford's situation right now and see it getting better. I'm thinking this guy needs a huge confidence booster. Like, United should send him to play 1 game with the under 23 so he can so he can bag like 8-9 goals in 1 game, and then bring him back to the first team. And there's no guarantee he'd even bag 8-9 goals in an under 23 game, but he is in dire need of a confidence booster. But also, can I just say, I don't think it's solely a confidence thing. I look at him and the decisions that he makes on the pitch, especially when he's on the ball, and he himself looks like he's lost all the willingness to do what he used to do. There was a point where he got the ball yesterday, right? And then he's on the wing, yeah. He gets the ball 1v1. He kind of does that little chop thing that he does, put the ball in front of him. He realizes that he ain't even got the knees and the legs and the pace to get past the guy. He comes back, he stops the ball, doesn't even chase it, stops the ball, comes into his right foot and tries to play Mason Mount in for a through ball. He tries to play Bruno in for a through ball, and it gets intercepted immediately. He looks like a guy that even feels like he's not got it in him anymore to play at that standard or that level that he was once playing at. And I think you look at that and you think, how can you even make that better? How can you make this situation any better than what it is right now? Do you bench him? If you bench him, it's similar to the argument, can I say, in Erik Ten Hag's first season, the first couple months when he wasn't playing that good and the World Cup came. And we're talking about, if you bench him, that might be a kick up the arse that he needs, excuse my language. But then also in the same breath, if you bench him, he might just never get back to playing good again. And it's one of them situations where does Erik Ten Hag take that risk? Or do you play him against Liverpool in a game where we know that he has one of the better records as a striker against the top 6, right? Especially for Manchester United. I think he scored how many goals has he scored against the top 6? I think it's like nearly 20 that he scored against the top 5, let alone top 6. Will he play against Liverpool? I think he will. This is so funny. Ineos should loan Rashford and bring Yamal to United on loan. Brother, whatever crack you are on, stop. Whatever crack you are taking, stop it. Stop taking that. Because there is no way on God's green earth, the beautiful earth that God has given us, that this will ever happen. This will never happen. Firstly, Lamine Yamal got a 1 billion release clause, yeah? Number 2, you think Barcelona's ever going to do business with United? Number 3, you think Yamal on loan equals Rashford? Never. Never. If Man United were serious about wingers, guys, if United were serious about looking at wingers, because I look at Marcus Rashford, right? And he's gone from being a striker or this forward to being a winger. And I look at him compared to other wingers and I'm like, this guy in the last 18 months is not on the level of other wingers. He's not on it. And when I say he's not on it, I think about the fact that his inability to beat his fullback has been the biggest standout over the last 18 or so months. without a doubt. He's not a striker and he's not a winger. So what the hell is he? If he's not a striker and he's not a winger, what the hell is he? I look at other wingers just in football, right? There's so many wingers in football, and I think, what is it that he has, that he lacks, that he's struggling with, and these other people have? That is what I do not understand. I just look at, for example, PSG are linked to Lookman, right? Look at Lookman, who, by the way, it took a while for him to kind of kickstart his career, but got there eventually. Lookman is a comfortable winger. When he gets the ball, he can beat a man, or he can try and beat a man. Lamine Yamal, same. Williams, what's his name? Williams at Bilbao, the same. I look at, bro, Arda Güler, what he was doing for Turkey. Rashford could never. Rashford could never. And Arda Güler is not even a traditional, like, he's not the wing. He's not like a winger, like, I would say, like, he's like not in the quality that Rashford has, like pace, etc. He's fast, but he's a lot technically better. I think he's on a technical level. I think Arda Güler is way better than what Rashford is right now. But for me, it's the fact that Rashford has gone from being Rashford has gone from starting his career as a striker to then kind of shifting out wide. And if he starts shifting anymore, he's going to be off the pitch. He will find himself off the pitch. You look at players who are young, by the way, who burst onto the scene at a young age. By the time they get to this stage, they're washed, or they become washed. And I don't want to say it, but I think maybe Marcus Rashford is beginning to look like that. Notably, I can think of like Theo Walcott at Arsenal, who just, once he started to lose his legs, he just he became crap. But he's another player that burst onto the field at a young age. I think this season is really make or break. And I don't even want to say this season. I think Marcus Rashford has the end of the summer, the end of the year, the calendar year, to make fans believe that he's actually going to get back to where he is. Because when I look at Marcus Rashford, I see a guy I see a guy who should be able to score 25, 30 goals in all competitions in a season. But then I see a guy who really looks like he's unhappy. Looks like his body is done. He looks like every limb in his body is done. He looks like his legs ain't got the pace. His brain is telling him one thing and his body is doing another. And when he comes like 1v1 against a player, I just look at him and I'm like, you don't look convincing that you're going to beat a guy. I just think you're going to come back onto your right foot and pass it back to Dallo. You're going to go pass it central to Bruno, etc., etc. It's like his fourth make or break season. It is like his fourth make or break season, but for me, it's not a make or break season. For me, it's the decision that United have a decision to make. United have a decision to make when it comes to him, and they have to make a serious decision. Meanwhile, I'm watching the saga with Napoli and Victor Osimhen. Not saying that United can afford him, but I'm looking at that and thinking that's another player who, as a 9, everyone should be all over him, but no one's coming an inch near him. Now, I know you lot are probably thinking, what the hell? That's so random. But it's just because I just saw it come up on my screen. And PSG was linked to both players. They were linked to not Mbappe. They were linked to Osimhen. And there was talk about, them being interested in Marcus Rashford. I just think Marcus Rashford now, trust me, I've said he can score 25 goals in all competitions. I still stand on that. I still stick by that. But going into the game on the weekend, I'm just like, if he doesn't start, I wouldn't be shocked. Someone said that Marcus Rashford always seems to perform when he is up for a new contract. You know what? Let me bring it up on screen. I actually said something like that ages ago on United View, yeah? And I only know that... Hold on. It's on the clips, United View clips. Let me bring it up. Here it is. All right, let me bring it up. Oh. Why I always got ads and shit. I got ripped this day, yeah? On this day, I got ripped. Please, UV, don't do me for copyright. Yeah. Make wiser choices. You don't want to track back, defend, all of that kind of stuff. It's very, very frustrating. And I'm not gonna lie. Last year, Rashford was a guy playing for a contract. He's got his
I don't think so.
I think he was
No,
playing.
he weren't.
Now
That's
that I
not
think
fair.
about it, and now
He just tried to
that
rebrand the team.
now that I think about it, because I'm
Nah.
not gonna lie,
No,
I'm
but
not
he
gonna
must
lie.
be as well.
Other clubs did probably want him.
He could have gone anywhere.
He could have gone anywhere, and obviously I'm gonna come back to the whole PSG discourse. But the way that PSG's summer went, they weren't. It didn't seem like they were sniffing around to come and buy
Trust me,
Rashford.
Rashford would have gone
And
anywhere.
they went a different route, if you
Rashford
want to
would
call
have fit
it.
into that nicely. He wants to be that guy.
Where's Rashford gonna play if Mbappe was there?
No,
Mbappe
Mbappe
playing
was
up front.
going. Mbappe was going.
Listen. So we had this debate, guys, on UV. How long ago was it? Let me see where this video was. This video is ages ago, by the way, because I don't even know where that tracksuit of mine is gone. Let me see how old this video is. Okay, it's a year ago. It's October last year. So it was just, I think this was after Galatasaray game, yeah? Champions League. And I remember, who's taller, you or Marcel? I am. I'm not that much shorter than Flex. I'm chatting shit. Big up to Pav, newest member in the community. Welcome. If you don't want to be like Pav, you can, man. Click the link in the description. And you can join the Minions gang. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. You get priority for call-in shows Thursday 7 p.m. this week. You get priority if you're a member. But that video was October the 3rd. Yeah, United lost to Galatasaray in the Champions League, and I remember we were. 1 year later, by the way, we are going back and forth on the same topic of conversation. To be honest, I was upset when you said it, Minna, but once again, I think you may be right. It's okay. It's all right. I agreed. He played for a contract. He played for the pay rise, and now he's just strolling around. You expect so much more from a United fan that was brought up watching CR7 and Giggs as wingers. It's very unfortunate, but I'm still backing him to get 25 goals in all comps. But United have a big decision to make at the end of the season. If he continues in the manner in which he's been going at the last 12 so months, at that point, it will be the last 24 months. It will be 2 seasons worth of this kind of performance from him. He needs saving, guys. He needs saving. And personally, I don't know how the hell that is going to happen. I do not know how the hell that's going to happen. But big up to everyone, man. You lot know what it is. Daily dose of minute. If we get a here we go today, you lot know the same disclaimer every day on the channel. If we get a here we go today, I will be live. Daily dose of minute will be back for a second time in the day. If we get that Ugarte, here we go, so we can talk about all of that stuff. But if we don't, then I'll be live tomorrow, and then the day after, and then the day after that. What is the plan for this week? We got daily dose of minute every day, as transfer deadline day is on Friday. We will be doing a transfer deadline stream probably at 10:30 p.m. UK time, because the deadline is at 11. We got, what do we have coming up? Liverpool versus Man United preview. I got a Liverpool fan coming on the show, where we're going to do a preview for the Liverpool game as well. So we've got a lot to talk about. We should have Nuruddin as well coming on the channel sometime this week, inshallah, God willing. And then we got, all the match day content next week. You guys know what it is. But listen, guys, I hope you have a wonderful bank holiday. It's still early, man. It's lunchtime. It's only lunchtime. There's still so much to do with the day. Hopefully we get Ugarte. Here we go today. I'm really, really hoping we do. Because then that could be something to look for. You United fans, we can stop talking about the Brighton game and we can start talking about Ugarte and how we fit him into the team. Hit the like button on your way out, man. You lot know what it is. I hope you have a wonderful bank holiday, whatever you get up to. And I will be back tomorrow with the daily dose of Minna. As always, guys, it's your girl Minna. Hit the like button, man. I'm out. Peace.